Today I'm actually going to do the secret. So welcome everyone, no matter where you are in the world. Hope you're having an amazing morning, an amazing afternoon, or an amazing evening. Today I'm actually going to do the secret languages of animals oracle cards, and the reason being is because what people don't know is spirit guides come in all shapes and forms and things like that, and a lot of people think that you've got to be spiritual to get a spirit guide or a token animal or things like that. But in actual fact, what a spirit guide or a token animal is when it's something that continuously comes up. It shows up, whether it's a picture of it, whether you physically see it, whether you hear its name, whatever it is. It's just a matter of saying, well, why is that particular animal keep coming up? And it's quite interesting because I've actually got a few books on, spirit animal guides that actually tell you why. And I remember being in Italy one day, on a holiday in Italy with my sister, and I kept seeing the bull. Now, I'm in Italy, I'm not in Spain, and I kept thinking, why am I seeing, glass, figurines of bulls? Why am I seeing them on posters? Why am I hearing about it? And it wasn't actually until I came home that I realized that I was actually going through, without knowing, I was actually going through a massive transformation that year. And it was something that was guiding me. It was actually guiding me to, it was quite funny because the bull represented, being, tough, being able to move through things, break through things. And it wasn't until later on in the year that I went through what I went through, and I thought, wow, isn't it crazy? But also on my journey, that I went through in 2018, I kept seeing the spirit animal of the jaguar to remind me of my strength, and the hummingbird, which reminded me of change. So things like that. So yeah, that's why I thought today I want to do the oracle card reading on spirit animals. So if anyone wants to give me a number, anyone on Facebook or Instagram, these cards are normally between 1 and 44 as well. So if anyone wants to shoot through, in the meantime, I always talk about the white sage and the Palo Santo. So I'm going to light up number 12. No worries, Lindsay, I'll do that now. So I always talk about the white sage. Now these are bits and pieces of white sage because, as I mentioned before, the white sage burns quicker than the Palo Santo. So if I'm using any of these, I'm using them to cleanse the cards before I turn them over. So I've already cleansed them for the day, but I'm just going to now pull out the 12th card, pop that on the side, and I'm just going to burn some white sage. So beautiful. All right. And I'm just going to turn it over. Just cleanse it first, put a good intention before I turn it over. Okay, it's the red squirrel. That's the first card, the red squirrel. Okay, a red squirrel. Okay, resourcefulness, vigilance, preparation, busyness. So I'll give it a read now and see what it says. And let me know, Lindsay, if this resonates with you once I start reading it. Okay, so 43. There we go. All right. Autumn breeze brushes through the branches of an old oak, sending a wave of leaves into drifting flight to the ground. Squirrels' tiny footprints scurry about, collecting acorns and stashing them in their crevices, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, or bark and stone. Secret hiding spots for days to come when all is still and white. Each and every nut is marked with a special scent gland in the owner's mouth to be sure he will find them later. Several nuts are also eaten along the way, just for good measure. He will gain up to a quarter of his body weight and extra fat reserves leading up to winter. In Native American lore, squirrel is sometimes noted for his noisy chatter, aggression, and gossip. But in many ways, stories, squirrel is embraced as a great sentinel and caretaker of the forest, honored for his diligent food gathering, for his courage in communication, and for bringing loud warning of danger to the tribe. Rising before dawn, squirrels go about their busyness until after dark, pausing only for a midday rest. Sometimes they put on elaborate fake food storage scents to foods on-looking squirrels and birds, leading them away from their actual stash of nuts. The only problem is that sometimes they must also fool the squirrel himself, for when winter comes, despite his meticulous planning, he may only find 1/10 of the nuts he has hidden. The message. If squirrel has scurried into your life, now is a powerful moment to look at the qualities of your actions and preparedness in life. Sometimes in reaction to these pressures of our daily to-dos, we find ourselves running around doing a lot of bunch of activity, but without real empowerment in the actions. We do 10 things in a rush to get them done instead of doing the 2 on the list that matter most, and doing them with 100% commitment. This message of squirrel is to pause and ask yourself what really needs to be done to make the most impact, and leave yourself feeling fulfilled, not scattered or fatigued. At the end of the day, what is the one thing I can do today that is done to the very best of my ability, will make the most difference to myself and others? Work hard, but balance times of focus with genuine play and rejuvenation. Even squirrel takes a midday nap. Considering the path to your great vision, it may serve you to bring attention to planning and preparing at this time to ground yourself in the physical details of what will be required to achieve your dream. Sometimes the dreamers will avoid the vital step, and so as not to box ourselves in. But the truth is that when we take simple steps to prepare, we honor the integrity of our vision and create opportunity for real freedom and peace of mind when it matters most. Squirrel also teaches us that even the best plans change and unfold in ways that we can never imagine. Sometimes a nut we stored yesterday may not be in the same spot today. But in our search, we may discover an even better stash. So come prepared, but don't be so hung up on your planning that you become rigid and unable to respond to unforeseen shifts in reality. Squirrel medicine advises not to judge too quickly or scatter your energy in chatter or critical analysis. Take a moment instead to calmly assess the situation and open yourself to perceive and receive the unexpected gifts that are certain to emerge with unforeseen changes. With discipline and focus, I build my plan, honoring the integrity of my vision. With humility and openness, I release the how. Trust the flow of great spirit within. So it's a lot to read, I know, but what it's basically saying is, like the squirrel goes out and grabs what it needs. It stores what it needs for then when winter comes. And winter to me is also a metaphor about life changes. And I spoke about it yesterday about the seasons that we go through. Doesn't necessarily mean the physical seasons that we are in, no matter where you are in the world, but it means winter. So in this case, what he's doing is he's preparing, the squirrel, or she is preparing all what he needs or she needs to put away for later on, and just going step by step. So what it's basically saying is, if you were trying to achieve, or if we're trying to create something, it just takes small steps, because then, like it says, something that you could have created along the way, you put it on a side, but then you think, oh, actually that doesn't work with what I've got now. or it possibly will. So what it's, so basically in a nutshell, it's saying that trust the process, trust what's out there. It's always going to be available to you as well. So it's really important for you to go out there and look what you're really wanting to get, what's yours for something greater or much better in life or down the track. So I hope that resonates with you. I know it's a lot to take in about the squirrel, but I really like the fact right at the end where it says, with discipline and focus, I build my plan. So basically it's, being diligent, being, your integrity behind what you're doing leads you to something better. And don't worry about how, like this squirrel, the nuts are always available. So don't go and gather too much, because then you're overwhelmed. Like the squirrel, sometimes it goes and, oh my God, now what? Or sometimes it puts its scent somewhere else. So what I'm trying to say too is, because it's just coming to me, is if we try and, the saying goes, put your fingers in every pie, or the man who tries to catch so many rabbits catches none. So what we should do is just narrow down what we want and just take our time and take it step by step to get forward. So I'm just going to read what you wrote there. So I've been put into some, that's exactly right. There you go. So yeah, that's exactly right. So with the squirrel, it's collecting all of these nuts. But then itself, it's so overwhelmed that even when it comes to winter, he doesn't know where he's put things. And that's what happens when we clutter our minds. We don't know where to go first. When we put ourselves too thin out there, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to be here, we want to do there, we want to get that, we want to get that. It just ends up creating more chaos in us than peace of mind, so that's why, what brings you closer to what you want, and what do you need to just go, what, I thought I was on this path, but it no longer serves me. I'm going to go that way now. So yes, exactly. The following of the path, that's exactly right. My passion and letting yes, because it says right there, right at the end, it says, with humility and openness, I release the how, trusting the flow of great spirit within. So if, the thing is also, keep in mind now, I know that sometimes our brain works in a way that you have to look at it in a clearer way. But sometimes what happens is, now that I've said about the squirrel, you're probably going to see the squirrel everywhere. And what it is, it's, I'm not sure what the term's called, but what it means is like, when you buy a car, and you've got a particular car and you've never seen it on the road, and then all of a sudden, or you're interested in a car or something, and all of a sudden you go, oh, there it is, oh, there it is, oh, there it is. It's because our mind looks at what we need. So, but having said that, if the squirrel comes about the next couple of days, whether it's on a page, whether it's real, no matter where you are, depending where you are in the world and you have squirrels, whether you see it even as a bobby pin or a clip or a brooch on someone, just remember that it's there to remind you of the lessons of the squirrel. So make sure that you just go with the flow. Don't collect too many nuts. Don't go and spread yourself too thin, and things like that. So I hope that resonated with you, Lindsay. I really like that one as well. And I noticed Lisa was on before. I'm not sure where she is now, but I'm going to pull out the 23rd card as well. So yeah, let me know if these cards if these cards resonate with you. Drop me a comment, and because I'd love to know, because I know that that's the same with myself. I tend to really spread myself out too much, and then I get overwhelmed. And then I think nothing's working and everything's working, So yeah, you're welcome, Lindsay. So I'm just going to write, because I'm not sure where Lisa's gone, so I'm hoping she'll jump back on. So I'm just going to pull out the 23rd card. So I'm just going to shuffle them again as well. But yeah, I'll definitely also let you know what the spirit books are, the spirit guides. I'll grab them in a sec, because they're just to my left. So I'm just going to now pull out the 23rd card. Okay, here we go. Just pop that on the side. And again, I'm going to cleanse it with some white sage. And the thing is, like I say, I use small pieces of the white sage, because if you tend to use the whole white sage, unless you want to cleanse your whole home, it will burn right through, and it'll be a shame if you don't need it. Unless you've got a small bowl with some sand and you can put it out, that's why I recommend that you just take bits and pieces of the white sage and use what you need. Because it makes a beautiful smoke too. Look how much smoke it makes. Beautiful. So I'm going to cleanse the second card for Lisa. Okay. Okay. Let's put that down. Earth. That's the second card. Earth. Let's see what it says. I always go to reach for the box. Okay. Physical body, grounding, nurture, cultivate. Our planet is 4.5 billion years old. 70% of Earth's surface is covered by water, but this water is all of its form is cradled by the ancient valleys, canyons, and basins of earth, soil, stone, sand, and clay, minerals, metals, and crystals. Each emerging first as magma from the molten furnace deep within Earth's core, hardening into a rock, breaking down into sediments and finer forms, before eventually returning to the very core where it began. To native people of many nations, Earth is the healer, provider of nourishment and material sustenances. As the element of stability, fertility, beginnings and endings, Earth is the keeper of home and the family. To many, Earth is a manifestation of divine vision into physical form. Until the modern era of city streets and synthetic shoes, our connection to Earth's healing, immune boosting, and hormonal balancing electromagnetic fields was guaranteed through a daily direct contact with her soil and sands. It comes as no surprise that the modern science has discovered measurable benefits from taking time each day to be grounded or earthed. The message: step outside, take your shoes off, stand there. Be the element of earth embraces you with a message to find stillness within motion, to be grounded in order to reach far, to settle into yourself in order to find freedom. Earth brings the gift of realness and tangibility. The earth path is simple, direct, and complete. Whole. There is no need to strain, force, or hurry, but your consistent commitment present is required. Don't get lost in the big picture or swallowed by the details. Just concentrate on being where you are right now. Show up, be present, follow through. Focus on the simple things that need to be done, and you will feel a sense of great accomplishments. Now is a time for building, cultivating, anchoring yourself into steady commitment. Action to provide a solid foundation for which is ready to come through you. A great new chapter or phase of your work in the world is ready to unfold, and now is the time to ground in it. Earth it. It's not so much about ascending into lofty plans, but rather bringing the energy of the infinite possibilities into the physical form. The earth element may call for physical work, but you will find great fulfillment in taking commitment action towards your ideas. If you come across roads or decisions that must be made, connecting with the element of earth will help you know what is needed next. Take time to sit, stand, or walk barefoot in the grass, sand, or soil. Feel the pulse of the earth align with your own and from this place, reflect on your path. Allow your body to tune into each option. Which direction are you being pulled? There is so much that can be solved by simply going outside, connecting with the element of earth. Work the soil of your life, plant the seeds you wish to grow, and tend to your garden with the simple devotion and grounded action. In days to come, your harvest will be great and shared with many. I am one with the elements of earth, grounded, connected, empowered by my being. My actions are real and committed, aligned with the energy of my highest dreaming. Wow, so that again, so these are really profound, these cards today. So there's got so much energy in them and so much information. But basically, with the earth one, it's basically saying, go. I mean, for me, it's like it's saying, go back to basic, go back to where you come from. Some things that we're trying to cultivate, some things that we're trying to manifest are so overwhelming, but just go out to nature. Nature is beautiful. I mean, not all of us are blessed to be able to go into the jungles, but we've all heard of the jungles of, you know, the Amazon jungle. And I never in my life thought I would actually be in the jungles of the Amazon. But I remember when I was in there, it wasn't just, you know, we think of the jungle, we think of all these large animals and large insects and things like that. But it was Mother Earth. I really felt connected to Mother Earth for a really long time, you know. So I thought to myself, this is great, this is so good, because when we need to find what we're looking for, it's so good to just go back into nature and just ground, just be. That's what we call grounding, you know. A lot of people think, oh, I need to ground, but I also love the fact that it says it goes back. And crystals. So if you're not able to go, you know, somewhere, whether it's a park, even you can even go to a park, or you know, if you're blessed to have even a small garden out the front yard or your backyard with a bit of grass, just take your shoes off and ground yourself. Put your feet in the ground. It's just such a beautiful connection to Mother Earth. And of course we do have, like it says, we have so much noise now because the world is just evolving in technology all the time, that we miss it. But that is why if you step away from suburbia, let's say, and you go and stay in a little, you know, sort of cottage somewhere in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the jungle, wherever you can, you just reconnect. And the thing is, the moment you start to reconnect with Mother Earth, you start to consciously understand yourself. It's like that's when you have an internal, you know, talk with yourself, because she's grounding you so much that you're releasing all the other stuff and you're really listening within, because you don't have all those other distractions. They're not blocking it. But of course, if you can't go to anywhere, like if you live in an apartment or because of COVID you're restricted or things like that, get some crystals. A really beautiful crystal for grounding is the black obsidian. So, you know, when I've had a tough day, and I'm overwhelmed with so much, I put a black obsidian in my hand, and it really helps me ground, and it really helps me connect with my inner self. So let me know if that resonated with you. But I also love the way that they too work, because the red squirrel was all about, you know, cultivating, you know, preparing something, but sometimes we're overwhelmed with what we prepare. So what a great way to then go into nature or ground yourself. Put your feet in soil or sand, beach sand or soil, or like it said, or the grass, whatever you can get your feet into, you know, just really ground yourself. So if you've got a beach nearby, or a forest, or a, you know, a tropical jungle, whatever you might have nearby, ground yourself. But if you don't, or if you're not allowed out because of COVID, you know, reach out. But black obsidian is a fantastic crystal for grounding. So I'm going to show, I might actually show you what a black obsidian looks like for those that haven't seen it. This is just a small piece I have laying around. So this is the black obsidian. So imagine being able to have this near you. You know, I always sit this near me, and I ground myself. But of course I've got a smaller one that I put in my pocket, and I also have one as a necklace. But having this in the room helps not only protect, but it helps you ground. So if anyone wasn't sure what the black obsidian looks like, that's a beautiful piece there. Of course, you can get them much. Yes, black tourmaline is the same. Absolutely. I've got actually just here on my desk, because I'm going to still be here so you can see how close it is. I actually have a black tourmaline as well. So there's my black tourmaline. So, and I purchased these two books after my spirit animal kept coming to me. So this is the first book, so Animal Spirit Guides. So that's the first one there. So if you're interested, these are really great. As I said, they whatever animal, because we tend to think it's one animal or, you know, just a handful, but it's whatever animal. And the other one that I have is Animal Speak. So that's a great one as well, where, you know, because you've got your token animal, you know, like some people say, oh yes, mine is the wolf, you know, some say mine is the eagle, you know, the jaguar, whatever it may be. So yeah, so that's the thing, you know, like token animals, you get the jaguar, you know, the sort of the generally you get similar ones all the time. But if mine was one of my spirit guides, was in fact when I was actually going through my journey with breast cancer, believe it or not, in a sterile room, and I speak about it a lot, a ladybug actually sat on my hand. So I thought, wow, isn't that crazy? Because this place is sterile, it's, you know, you're preparing to get operated, and a ladybug sat on my hand. And you know, if you can, as I said, these are the books, so I'm not sure, I'll have them, you know, I'll put the names of the books on my Facebook pages so you guys can get them. And then have a read of it. But yeah, so, and after my operation and everything else, the ladybug kept coming to me. So I've had the ladybug, I've had her at markets with me, I've had it in the car with me, things like that. And when I was in Peru, and I was going through my sickness, you know, there, I was trying to release all that, all the energy that was within and everything like that. I kept seeing something in the tree which I didn't know what it was, and in actual fact, every time I concentrated on what was moving in the tree, I felt better. Every time I would look away, I felt worse. And we found out that it was the hummingbird. So, you know, so if you know, I have a running joke that I'll get them tattooed one day, but if you look at my spirit guides so far, like I said, I had the bull, the jaguar, the hummingbird, and the ladybug. So things like that. So it depends. And some people have snakes, some people have dogs, some people have spiders, some people have ants. So, okay, I know that you can see these animals all the time, but what I'm saying is if it's in a particular way, like you see it, like wherever you walk, you see it, someone's talking about it, or someone shows you a picture or whatever it is, that's when you should stop and go, okay, what am I supposed to learn? What is the lesson within? Because obviously this guy, you know, it's trying to guide me some way. So thanks again, guys. I really appreciate having you guys here with me. So thanks again. And no matter where you guys are in the world, hope you're having an amazing morning, an amazing afternoon, or an amazing evening. And may you all find your angel.